Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, May 24th, 2013. There's been another bridge collapse in the United States on a major interstate highway, Interstate 5, which runs north to south, all up and down the west coast. But in this particular case, connecting Seattle with the Canadian city of Vancouver, saw a freeway bridge collapse last night. It sent a number of vehicles and drivers tumbling into frigid water. It was a river that passed underneath the bridge. Apparently there was very cold weather out there. 2 of the 3 people rescued were hospitalized with hypothermia. The bridge is on Interstate 5. It crosses the Skagit River between the towns of Mount Vernon and Burlington, about 55 miles north of Seattle. Apparently what happened is a lane or 2 of the bridge, the center and the right lane, collapsed, sending a number of cars into the water. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, but the bridge collapse comes at a time when state lawmakers are debating a proposed $8.5 billion transportation funding package that the governor of Washington has championed. Presumably this will now be passed, who knows. There was a dramatic scene at London's Heathrow Airport earlier today. A British Airlines Airbus 319 carrying 75 passengers was evacuated on the runway. TV pictures showed the plane coming back for an emergency landing with heavy smoke spewing from one of its 2 engines. BA Flight 762 had left London for Oslo at 8:16 a.m. British time before turning back with a technical fault. It landed at 8:43 a.m. The customers and the crew exited safely on escape chutes that were deployed. The plane involved has engines made by International Aero Engines, which is a venture led by Pratt & Whitney, which is part of the United Technologies Group in the United States. Bad news on hurricanes in the U.S. According to the North American Weather Service here, funded by the American government. Warm Atlantic waters and favorable wind patterns may produce 13 to 20 named storms this year. This would be the 4th above average hurricane season in a row. The most named storms ever recorded was 2005, when 28 named storms were seen. Lloyd's came out with a report yesterday indicating that large solar storms could leave tens of millions of people in North America without electrical power for several months, if not years, potentially costing trillions of dollars. The report was produced in cooperation with the U.S.-based Atmospheric Environmental Research Organization. It noted that while large solar storms are rare, they can create a massive surge of current overloading the electrical grid. They noted that in 1989, a solar storm triggered the collapse of Quebec's electrical power grid, leaving 6 million Canadians without power for 9 hours. The report noted that if an event such as the Carrington event, which occurred in 1859, which is regarded as the most extreme solar event on record, if that event occurred today, it would affect up to 40 million people in the United States, with power cuts lasting up to 2 years. The economic cost would be catastrophic, estimated to be as much as $2.6 million, or billion, excuse me, $2.6 trillion. You don't see that number very often. There was a gigantic earthquake measured at 8.3 under the Pacific Ocean, about 10,000 kilometers away from Moscow, 6,000 miles. It was off the shore of the Kamchatka Peninsula. Fortunately, nobody has been killed or injured, but the massive undersea quake triggered tremors in Moscow, some 6,000 miles away. It was also felt throughout most of Asia, in the space going from Kamchatka in Russia's far east all the way into European Russia. The whole plate on which the continent stands shook. This is according to a Russian seismic scientist. So at this moment, the continental shift movement was felt all over Russia, not just in Moscow. We received calls from the entire country, they said. The nearest city was Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. The quake was felt there. At that time when it hit there, it was a 5.0. There were no casualties or damage. Fortunately, Russia's far east is very, very sparsely populated. This weekend in the United States, we celebrate, or observe, I should say, Memorial Day, which is a time when we remember those who gave their lives in defense of our freedom. The holiday was established by President Lincoln during the Civil War, so we'll be remembering those brave men and women who died for our country. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on Tuesday.